And hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Success Scopes with Carolyn Owens. I am the chairwoman and CEO of Infinity Coaching Incorporated, where we help you up-level your skills so you can up-level your income. I see you there, Carolyn Farron, my mom. She's always the first one here. Thank you for being with me again. You're here faithfully every week. I see you, Diana. You've made it. And Melody, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you all guys and everybody for being here with me today. Melody is great. She's a girl boss all the way. Thank you for being with us. And as you know, our Success Scopes, we try to be here every Monday at 2 p.m. and Fridays at 2 p.m. But I am running late today. I had a lot of running around to do today that got me so behind schedule. You know how it is when you just get behind on one thing, it keeps on going. So we're here Mondays, like I said, typically at 2 p.m., Fridays at 2 p.m. And on Mondays, we bring you some tips and strategies that help you move forward and have that success that you want in life. And then on Fridays, we check in, we do a follow-up, see how the tips and strategies worked for you, if you implemented anything, and just kind of check in and kind of recap what we talked about. And for those of you that have been following for a while, you know for the past couple weeks we've been talking about sleep deprivation. And I tell you, every time that I start looking more and more up about it, I find out just how much, how big this problem is. I actually ordered a couple resources, some books that a friend of mine, Chela Diaz, she's the financial coach. She helps women in wealth, and she has a radio show too as well. But we were talking about the subject, and she told me a couple resources and books to kind of look up, that when she's listening to Scopes, it reminded her of those. And then in the course of looking at that book, we saw another one, and how many really well-known people are talking about this. I told you about Arianna Huffington. I found out she not only wrote articles about it, she actually wrote a book on it. So I'm definitely going to be getting that one as well. But we've already went over some of the signs of sleep deprivation, and then we talked about some of the impacts that it has. A lot of times we won't realize that the different things that are happening are a result of the lack of sleep, not getting any sleep. And you say, why does a leadership coach, career coach, talk about something like lack of sleep? I talk about subjects like lack of sleep, time management, relationships, because it's not just about showing up to work and the career. It's the whole big picture, how everything affects everything. And lack of sleep is going to show up in your business, in your career. For a lot of people, you go into the office, lack of sleep, people are looking at you like, do you really know how to do your job? They're like, what do they know? But you're really just exhausted, and that's how it's showing up, how you're communicating. And like I said, we're in denial a lot of times that's part of the root cause. And the main thing that you guys know that I keep stressing is the relationship between lack of sleep and heart disease. That's one of the #1 killers there for women, and especially African American women. So if you can begin to adjust your sleep pattern and take that self-care, begin to be healthier without having to take all that medication, because the side effects that come with medication, and if you can use natural remedies as opposed to I'm going to say being drugged up, that the pharmaceutical business is big business. Stop giving them the money and let's try some natural things. So we've been going over some tips and strategies that you can use. Like I said, we talked about the signs, we talked about the impact, and now we've been talking about strategies. And this week we covered 5 quick ones. We talked about some about your environment, and so that's what we're going to just review real quick. And I told you about aromatherapy and how certain smells will trigger that wave activity in the back of your brain that has that sleep-inducing effect. And I mentioned the diffuser, and I said I would show it to you guys these days to give you an idea of what I was talking about. And so this is the one that I have. It's a Young Living diffuser, and really you have the lid that comes off the top here. You really put some water in it, and you drop say your essential oils that you have. You put a few drops in there. I usually put 10 to 12 in here. This is the one I mentioned, that lavender is a perfect scent to use for that sleep inducing effect. You can either use it in a diffuser, you can put it on your temples, and you hear lavender is a scent that when they talk a lot with kids about getting some sleep when the babies are kind of not able to rest, lavender has that powerful sleep inducing effect. But you just put it in, drops in with some water, you put the lid back on, and you just hit the button and turn it on. You guys can see it coming out, and it really carries across the room. So you have where it can just come straight out, or you have another setting you can put it on as well. So you'll see it change to a different setting, where this one's intermittent, excuse me. It'll be on, shut off for a while, on, shut off. But not only it has a great scent, but then again, the lavender is that sleep inducing effect. And so that's something to think about, the aromatherapy. And I know that Carolyn Farron is watching, you know, my mom. So I'll say, you Mom, is this what you want for your Christmas present this year? Let me know. So aromatherapy is one. And another one is sound. We were talking about Diana. Diana is saying that's what she wants. So sound, we went over sound real quick, and okay, she said yes. So you guys see, that's what my mom, Carolyn Farron, is getting for Christmas this year. But when you have the sound, about some places where you want it to be quiet, but it can just be totally too quiet at times. And if it's so quiet, you can use you can have that, I talked about the clocks and stuff that you have that can have the waterfall sounds and the sounds of the ocean and the beach that help create that kind of relaxing environment. So they have even some music that's made that's helped you fall asleep. It's like a CD or an apps that you can get down on your phone now. You can download that has particular beats and sounds that are meant to have that sleep inducing effect. But if you live in an area, say by the train station or airport or different things where there's a noise all the time, you can have the noise cancellation. There's the white noise, the boxes and different things you can have that you can get that will help kind of reduce that sound. And some people go so far as to sleep with earplugs, but the only danger to that is if you have the earplugs in and God forbid there's a alarm or something goes off and you can't hear it. So you gotta be real careful if you're thinking about using earplugs. And then we talked about sleeping on the type of mattress that you choose to sleep on, the pillow, because we don't think about that our mattresses have a lifespan. You know, they're only meant to last 9 or 10 years. And sometimes between that time you hear people flipping the mattress, then they'll flip it back over, kind of try to make it last longer. But really, after 9 or 10 years, you want to switch out your mattress completely. Especially if you have one of those that have, if you've been sleeping on that mattress so long, you got the coils sticking in your back and stuff coming out, you know, it's time to replace it. And we talked about the type of pillows. So if it could be your mattresses, your pillow, if there's something that's triggering your allergies, you know, and you don't realize what it is, it could be that. I know I cannot use any pillows with feathers in them. There is just no way. And I remember when I first came in the military, and the first place I had to stay, that bed, I will never get that pillow because you could see the feathers sticking out of it. And I was like, I could not use it. But you just think about the impact of that. Is it comfortable? Is it comfortable on your mattress, but not that you're sinking so far into it? So really think about what type of mattress that you're using and have that good quality mattress. It's well worth it. And the other one, we talked about, if you're the type of person who has cold hands and cold feet, slip on some socks at night when you go to bed. And that's because they've actually studied and researched the fact that when you put the socks on, that you're able to fall asleep faster. So you're not spending that time laying restless in bed, but it will help even out that temperature. And previously we talked about the temperature in the room and keeping it between 65, 70 degrees. But again, not having the room too cold or too hot. because then that tends to wake you up. So finding that happy medium for you. For me, 70 is too cold. I still need it to be at least 73, 74, and I have to say 75, but it varies for some people. But find out what that temperature is for you. You don't want to wake up drenched in sweat, but you don't want to be so shivering, either. So think about that when it comes to terms, again, your feet being cold and the temperature in the room. Another one I mentioned this week was the color of your room. Because remember, we're talking about the environment that you're sleeping in. Think about, painting it that calming, relaxing color, typically a yellow or a blue. Again, that gets that relaxation started, because you've heard me say it a couple times now. The bedroom is only serving to serve two purposes. Okay, you remember what they are? Sleeping and sex. Okay, so think about the color of the room and helping create that relaxing environment. And this is the one that I mentioned that's kind of, I've seen two schools of thoughts on this one, is whether or not, you're laying in bed, you've been laying in bed, and you can't sleep. You woke up in the middle of the night, and you've been laying there. Do you get out of bed, or do you stay in bed? So I've seen studies that say the best thing to do is to go ahead and get out of bed. And if you choose to get out of bed, you might want to take and just whatever thoughts are weighing heavily on your mind, just start jotting them down. I encourage you to keep a journal beside your bed, just a notebook, a journal, that some of those thoughts that you can just start writing them down. Because sometimes that's where the best ideas come from, in the middle of the night, and then you wake up and you don't think about writing them down. But when you go back to sleep, when you finally fall back to sleep and you wake back up, you forgot everything. That's happened to me. And as a writer, that was like critical thoughts that I could have been able to, I had the perfect chapter or the perfect storyline, and I wasn't able to do it because I didn't get up and write it down, But now I have not one, but two sheets. I have sheets of paper or journal right there that I can go ahead and dump and get those thoughts out. I did it the other night, and, that's my latest blog article that I wrote. So, just think about having that journal beside you. And sometimes if it's something that you've been struggling with, that's really, really weighing heavily on your heart, by getting out and writing it down, like getting up and writing it down, it's going to help clear that thought for you. It's going to help kind of find that peace for you. So the other thought, staying in bed, you kind of just really almost trying to put yourself in a meditative state while you're there, where you're taking, deep breaths and kind of really trying to find that relaxation technique for you that's going to find that peace for you to stay in bed. And so I've done both, but I find that I've got to get that out of my head. I've got to get up and write it down. I have a colleague, a friend of mine, who has all of his idea books that he's kept. And a lot of times that has resulted in big business for him. I mean, extremely big business, 7-figure business for him. So you really got to think about, what's going to work best for you. And I say try both, because that's what the tips and strategies that I'm giving you are things that you can try, see what works best for you. But it all comes down to the discipline to try it. It doesn't, one time try it and quit. It's not going to work, because you're adjusting years and years of patterns that you've created. And it's going to take time to kind of shift, to figure out what works best for you. But you'll start feeling it in your body, how you wake up energized. You'll start seeing how you relate to people. That grumpy person at work that gets on your nerves, they won't bother you so much, because you'll feel good and you'll feel rested. So it's just some things for you to try. If you haven't had a chance to try them this week, try them over the weekend. We'll be back on Monday at 2 p.m. where we're going to kind of wrap up some of our strategies here. But we're going to talk about some lifestyle changes that you can make that will impact your sleep. So I got about 5 or 6 strategies that I'll give you then. And then on next Friday, we're going to kind of close it all out. I'll share some resources and different things that you can do to really, really, there's one program, it's in a book that I'll share with you, that's actually a 21-day plan to getting better sleep to enrich your life. So I'll definitely, Diana, yes, please try, because I know you need to get some sleep. both you and Carolyn Farron. I know you guys struggle with sleep. And if Cindy's on here, if she's listening, I know she struggles with sleep as well. But throughout the week, if you want to keep the conversation going, I invite you to join us in our free Facebook community. It's at infinitycoaching.net/community, and that's your invitation to come in. And it's for not just business owners, but those that are in career fields as well. We have a couple of nurses in the group. I always talk about the nurses there because I am very, very, I can't do what they do. You will never catch me putting a needle in anybody's arm, let alone when they have to give me one. So I highly have the utmost respect for them. But we have all types. We have an event planner. We have, I said, Chella Diaz, a woman of wealth that helps you with your money skills, is there. And then each month we're featuring some of our businesses that are in the group. And this month we've been featuring Andrea Smith, who's an author. She has her coaching program. And one of the things we've done lately is find our, I say our world, our tribe as authors, as one of the programs we've been writing for and in, and we actually get paid for our writing. So we're having a blast there. Chella's there, Andrea's there, I'm there. But if you want any information about that program or the diffuser, I can give you the information for what that was and where I got it. You can also email me at cowens@infinitycoaching.net. And I will say with the diffuser, you don't just have to use the lavender. I've got a whole bunch of different essential oils that you drop in there. Some are just to kind of clear out and purify the room. Some are relaxing, some are uplifting. So there's all different ones that you can use with it. So again, I invite you to join us in the community. If you do want to find out more about it before you join, you can go to infinitycoaching.net/free community. And that gives you, kind of ideas of what we do in the group. It's, I say, a great group, professional people that are really, really making a difference in the lives of others. So happy to have them in the group with me. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's Scope. You have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed weekend. And I will be back Monday. And hey, I'm thinking about throwing one on Wednesday with some stuff I want to share. That's pretty powerful stuff that's been going on. So be on the lookout to see if I do that. But until then, I will be back Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Have, again, a wonderful, blessed week. And here's to your success. See ya.